I didn't know that either, Lacey.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, you heard my mom. She gave me my introduction about the spectrum. And I'm going to talk about the basics of it. Well, the symptoms of this illness include an inability to relate to others, poor eye contact, odd walking gait, clumsiness, and intense special interest in a specific topic. And I'm here to say, I'm here to admit mine. I really love roller coasters. And everybody that knows me knows I'm like freaking obsessed with New Kids on the Block. I have this slide. And,
no, I'll drink, Mommy.
a couple years ago, I've recently become obsessed with
drink, Mommy.
Okay. There's something called a stimming behavior when you're upset that autistic people get. And when I say stimming, I'm talking about stuff like pulling your hair, banging your head, rocking, wringing your hands, or like kind of like this, and gnawing on stuff.
Yes.
And this is in addition to crying or yelling or whatever else the kids do. And when you stim, it's a way of relieving your emotions. And for me, I always wring my hands and gnaw pencils when I'm upset. And also there's something called, they get anxiety over changes. A good one is changes in routine. And when I say changes in routine, I'm talking a lot like just minor stuff that can happen when kids are at school, or, you know, for people that work, just minor stuff on the job. And you know, and a good example of that would be an assembly at school. And there's something also that they get what's called sensory issues. And when I say sensory issues, I'm saying like you can wear a certain item of clothing and it can cause significant discomfort from the way it feels up against your skin. And people with the high functioning type of it, like me, tend to have symptoms of anxiety disorders, attention deficit disorder, not being able to understand sarcasm, and taking people literally when you hear something or when you read about something. And then another biggie that I forgot to say, the high functioning, is sometimes there's learning disorders of sorts are also common, and that's because the way that process sensory issues and processing go. And the main symptoms that I have experienced are problems with emotional control and difficulty in some types of social situations. Well, but in a situation like this, it's okay, because he loves me. This has led to me getting bullied in school, getting into trouble for not being able to control my emotions, difficulty in relationships, and problems with holding down jobs. And when I say difficulty in relationships, I mean with everything, you know, but mainly relationships and friendships. So, in school and on the job, I was often punished unfairly for my emotional control issues, because the brain of the autistic person is wired differently than that of somebody that's a neurotypical person. We tend to perceive things differently when we're given assignments to do at home, school, or on the job. And when we don't, and a lot of times we don't always understand it, but what does that do? Let me tell you something, guys. It can lead to anxiety and frustration that leads to the big elephant in the room called meltdowns for autistic people. And what does meltdowns do? It leads to stimming and crying. Trust me. And the neurotypical person that gives that assignment may perceive the person as making excuses, being lazy, so on and so on. Luckily, this illness is more common than what it was when I was a kid, and there is
Sold
more
it.
awareness. And
I got it.
unfortunately, the social symptoms of this illness can be very challenging to deal with. And even though I myself would consider to be friendly and outgoing and high functioning, I do still face symptoms of situations, regular and social misunderstandings that result in me getting my feelings hurt and other people's thinking that I'm mean. And it's all because of the miscommunication aspect. And I have to say that if you don't know anybody on the spectrum, I think it's important to learn what the symptoms are. And let me tell you something, guys. If you can just try your best not to punish anybody on the spectrum or any other mental illness for having a meltdown, because unfortunately that is one of the worst symptoms. That's one of the main symptoms of the illness. And you know, you can't help meltdowns. Meltdowns are almost like vomiting when you have the stomach bug. Really, it is. Can you always control vomiting when you catch a stomach bug? No. And it's really the same way with autism spectrum disorders. Here's some advice that I found based on what I've experienced. I have to say that probably one of the hardest lessons I've learned, and it's taken me years to learn this, is that people, when they're upset or frustrated, a normal person will say something out of anger and frustration. Let me tell you something, guys. If you know somebody that's on the spectrum or around somebody, just try your best not to say anything out of anger or frustration toward that person, because that can lead to, because they take everything literally, and that can lead to frustration and anxiety that can lead to meltdowns, and you don't want that. And one issue that I feel like is close to my heart is that Christians, we really should be praying for the kids and adults on the spectrum. And we really need to help them to try to understand religious issues in the way that their brain can comprehend it. They can't always comprehend stuff that people preach about in church. And it's a good idea to try to do your best on that part. And I also want to say that autistic people, they tend to have talents as well as curses that many people don't have. And these talents can be a blessing. And for example, read about it in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 4 through 10. The Apostle Paul speaks about the different spiritual gifts. And I believe this does apply to people on the spectrum too. So, and I have to say, if y'all know anybody, the best medical advice I have to say is just accept them as they are. And teach them to accept themselves as they are. And just embrace their special interests. If they have one, pursue it. And as long as it does not anything that can affect their health or their finances, and as long as it's financially feasible, who cares? And another thing I have to say is eat right, exercise, get plenty of rest, all that stuff. Drink plenty of water. All right, I'm done.
Thank you.